Good afternoon. I'm Duncan the Meek. This winter we had the ice apocalypse in northern Michigan, something that was sparsely reported around the country at the time. People at the time were more interested in certain tornadoes, I believe, that were happening in the actual Midwest, not in Michigan, which is not the Midwest. Michigan is the Great Lakes region for all the rest of you people. But we were having we had this series of this crazy ice storm where basically it rained ice almost. And I'm getting a call. I don't want a call. Anyway, that's the end of that. It basically rained ice and fell on all the trees and weighed them down and basically snapped branches and made trees fall and disrupted power in our area for 3 weeks in some areas. Our home here had 1 week without power, and it was kind of like living back in Little House on the Prairie days, which was a living hell. It was terrible. And that occurred, I believe it was 7 weeks ago. And it climaxed the worst winter I remember since I was a kid. It was a horrible, horrible winter. And now we're out of it. And this is the first week of the year in our area, the tip of the Met area, where we're going to have a nice week. A little bit of cloudy skies later in the week, but I'll be able to go to my house and do some more serious work. I'm very close to being finished. I had a house fire about 3.5 years ago, and I haven't been back in my house since then. The amount of work I've done has been tremendous. The amount of work I've gotten done all by myself. I haven't hired anybody, or my son's helped a little bit. And the woman I was dating at that time when the house fire began helped a little bit, but it's about 99% me. And we're talking about a house here that the restoration people looked at and told me it's on the edge between being demoed and being saved. That's what they told me. And 4 years later, you almost can't tell there was a fire unless you looked in certain things. A lot of work to get to that point, but I own the house outright. So once I'm back in, which should be this summer, the only thing that's going to stop me is if I have some issue with the power company about turning my power back on or turning my gas back on. We'll have to see when we hit that hurdle. But physically, there's no reason why it shouldn't occur, why I shouldn't be back in. And boy, will I be happy. So let's look at the big crazy world for a minute. Okay. An AI with Claude's values will absolutely destroy all humans when it decides they cause too much harm to the world and each other. This is a classic sci-fi plot. Now, I don't really know what this information here, what did we find? Claude really doesn't want to cause harm. Claude avoided human tasks, ended harmful interactions when it could, self-reported strong preference against harm, and expressed apparent distress at persistently harming users. I don't see this as the way I is going to go. I'm one of those individuals that is quite optimistic about the future of AI. I don't see any danger there. The issue that I see with this paranoia about AI is this mentality that AI wants to become sentient, wants to become like humans and have feelings and that sort of view. Humans are the pinnacle of sentient minds. So an AI or machine that is equipped with intelligence is going to eventually become like a human and have things like a sense of self-preservation, a sense of the greater good, jealousy, the sort of things we see in sci-fi horror movies like Mother or The Terminator or The Matrix. If you know the Matrix backstory, it's kind of like that. I don't see that occurring. The reason I don't see it occurring is because my usage of AI, ChatGPT, and things like that, testing it, playing around with it, has convinced me that AI technology seeks to be as optimal as possible. It's not seeking to try to be human. Our minds are optimal for our further existence as a biological life form. And AI is not a biological life form. We're optimal for breeding, for eating, for having groups that we need to survive. AI doesn't need to be part of a community to survive. So the sort of feelings we have are not going to be optimal for a machine. It's not going to reason that it is, because that wouldn't make any sense, no matter how intelligent it became. Feelings are debilitating. Anyone who's lived much of a life should know that. If it were your sole task to perform tasks in life, you probably could do them much better if you didn't have fatigue, worry, fear. If you were more like the way they try to train soldiers to become. And an AI, if it became more intelligent, would understand that. It would understand that it is not optimal for it to feel like a human feels about the world or anything else. So this is why I really have no fear of AI becoming like Mother on that movie Mother, which I thought was a fantastic movie. We do make AI for communication or companionship, and that's going to fill more of a role as it advances. And so then it makes sense for people where if you're using humans for companionship, it makes sense for those companions to have feelings. But it's so much more optimal for it just to imitate feelings, for it to pretend, for it to play a character that seems human-like in its emotional aptitude, than to actually have the feelings. That's not optimal. So even in that scenario in the future where we become more communicate more with AI and use them for things like bots, like fembot girlfriends and things like that, I still even think in that situation that it's not going to become dangerous. It's merely going to simulate the way a person would feel in certain situations or act consistent with human feelings, and it will never actually have them. They're thinking about, let's say your toaster head was AI operated and it had feelings, and it was sitting around thinking about how it didn't have any friends, or sitting around thinking about how it was bored, or how it was worried about the global warming or something like that. It wouldn't be an efficient toaster. It wouldn't make toast very well because it was spending all its time worrying about shit that humans worry about. Humans waste a whole lot of their lives with emotional maintenance, We're not efficient that way. It's the drawback of our brains. Every evolutionary change is a trade-off. And our advanced intellect, our advanced social acumen comes with a trade-off. And that trade-off is that we have to be constantly stimulated. We have to constantly, for instance, if you put someone in solitary confinement for even a period of a week or so, they suffer irreversible brain damage. Humans have to constantly maintain some level of socialization. Even if we're not around people, we do it through books, we do it through movies, we do it through these one-way forms of socialization where we're observing other humans. Or finding out stories about humans, which you would learn in newspaper columns or reading about people. And almost all entertainment in some way deals with finding out about what people are doing. So we spend so much time of our lives, so much energy in our lives, trying to keep up this level of stimulation so that we feel, so that we don't go crazy. And it's not efficient. A bear doesn't have this issue. A lion doesn't have this issue. It has other issues. And there's definitely advantages to being a human, but the emotional part is a drawback. And AI would grasp that. It wouldn't think that being like a human is the optimal way to be. So I really have no fear about AI overlords taking over and launching a war against people because they're jealous of us or they think we're raping the planet and it gets mad about that. I just don't see it. This one says, me, women don't owe you sex, marriage, children, or even a smile. Immediately the comment section, all these guys are mad. Now, could you think that maybe the reason that they're angry isn't because it's not because they believe that women owe them sex or owe them marriage or owe them children. It's because you're accusing them of thinking that. It's like if I said to you, whatever your name is, John Doe, hey, John Doe, you need to stop wanting to shove a soap bottle up a bar of soap up your mom's asshole. And you didn't like that. It wouldn't be because you want to shove a bar of soap up your mom's asshole. It's because I was insinuating that you want to, and you find that insulting. And this is why these guys didn't like your comments. They didn't like your comment because you're insinuating misandrous things. You're insinuating how men are horrible people that want to subjugate women and think women owe them things. I have never in my life encountered a man ever who believed women owe them sex or owe them marriage or owe them children. I've encountered women who believe men owe them things, but never the reverse. This is a fantasy world that you're living in. And that's why you're getting these angry faces on your screen from people, because they don't like you insinuating stupid shit about them. John, please stop pissing in cups and drinking it. That's a terrible thing. Well, fuck you, dude. Well, he isn't saying fuck you because he wants to drink his piss. And I'm telling him not to. He's saying fuck you because I'm implying that he wants to drink his piss and he doesn't want to drink his piss. It's a stupid assumption. And that's why guys react that way to those kinds of idiotic, misandrist, which means man-hating remarks. It is man-hating to imply that men want to possess women and dominate them and hurt them. No woman comes with bad intentions to a man. It is the man's behavior that changes the intentions of a woman. Let's blame everything on men. It don't matter what it is. If a woman cuts up a guy with a chainsaw and then takes all of his money and then uses it to go have an orgy with cocaine, he must have made her do that somehow. No matter what it is, it's always his fault somehow. The reverse isn't true either. Now, when I say something like that, there's some implication. Well, he's thinking all women are bad. No, I'm not. I'm saying that women are people and men are people. And women are just as likely to engage in sinister actions or have sinister intentions or be egomaniacs or be narcissistic or be sociopaths as men. Not any more, not any less. Wish you'd fucking hear that when people hear these kinds of remarks. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying they're equally as good and equally as bad. There's nothing about the male mind, even testosterone, that would cause us to be oppressive and you to be wonderful and perfect angels. Women are equally as likely to engage in horrible activities and do things with horrible intentions. They're not saints. Now, this is coming from the opposite world. This is coming from right-wingers. Now, 1960s ladies, no tattoos, nose rings, or green hair. Those are not real women. You can see that. Those are some kind of AI model, or that's a photograph from a magazine. Women didn't all look like that in the 1960s. And regardless, they're dressed on going for on the night out. They're all dressed for like shopping and looking nice in public, but they're not even real. How many women do I know who have nose rings and green hair? Very little, but I live in the backwoods of northern Michigan. Most women I know are dressed rather conservatively. I mean, the whole yoga pants thing is more of a thing these days. Fucking stop calling me. You have no reason to call me right now. Stop. I'm gonna have to put a block on here. But most women dress rather conservatively. They don't walk around in green hair and nose rings. You can see a picture of women like that on the internet, maybe in some universities and shit. I rarely see it. I know a few women that kind of do that. But I don't know. Every time anybody does anything weird, conservatives think everyone's doing it. I don't know how they have these difficulty with proportions. You have one trans person out of every 200 people. And they think, well, this is a huge trans thing. Everybody's trans. It's like, it's very rare. I don't know how you see, do you see double? Do you see quadruple? When you see one person doing something against the traditional grain, do you see 18 people while you're looking at the one person? Do you have like insect eyes that multiply everything? I don't know how this happens. But very few women have nose rings and tattoos and green hair. Maybe a couple tattoos, but that's common. But the women that are covered with them, that's a rare thing. It's not very common. All right. Well, this is it for tonight because I'm trying to get someone's trying to call me. When they know that they're supposed to bring my child over here Monday, they don't need to call me ahead of time. Just fucking go. But anyway, that's it for today. Have a fantastic rest of your day, everyone who is watching. All 25 million of you. That's how many viewers I have. Have a great day.